Hare Krishna, Bhagavad Gita as it is, chapter 12, text 8. Mai eva mana adhatsva, mai buddhim niveshaya, nivasishyasi mai eva, ata urdhvam na samshayaha. So now Krishna continues to explain the glories of Bhakti Yoga. This chapter is entitled Bhakti Yoga. So in this verse, he sort of summarizes what it means to be ultimately perfect in Bhakti Yoga. He says, Mai eva mana adhatsva. Mana means mind. Adhatsva, you fix your mind. Mai eva, in me. Buddhim mai niveshaya. Your intelligence, you fix on me. Apply in me. In this way, nivasishyasi mai eva. You will always live in me, full of conscious of me. Ata urdhvam na samshayaha. There is no doubt if you live with me always, you will come to me. So here Krishna talks first about the mind. Mai eva mana adhatsva. The mind has to be fixed on something. There has to be an object of meditation. The other processes, spiritual processes, many of them actually, they try to negate the mind from any other thoughts. Mind has to be still, mind has to be thoughtless, mind has to be desireless, is what they say. I met one colleague long time ago, and I asked, he was also interested in spirituality, and I asked him what spirituality he followed, and he said, so we try to clear the mind from everything. And how do you do that? We try to focus on a candle in the middle of the room. So this is their meditation. But actually, you try to clear up everything. Negating process is not a proper process. For example, if I tell you, don't think about white elephants having pink spots. So the moment I tell you, your thoughts will go to a white elephant with pink spots. The moment you go out of this room, don't look at any women. And very consciously, you'll be thinking of that thought which itself has women in that. So the negative process is not a very tangible, it does not give tangible results. Whereas a positive process is what helps us achieve results. So if I tell you, focus on the black elephant, that means automatically your mind is fixed on black elephant. You don't see anything else. What to speak of white elephant with pink dots. Like Arjuna, like Dronacharya was asking while he was teaching all these Pandavas. He got them to one place and he was asking them to shoot arrows. And he placed a bird, bird-like object far away in the branch of a tree. And he asked everyone, what do you see? And everybody kept on saying, oh, I see that branch, I see that tree. And the closest was, I see that bird. And Arjuna was saying, I see the eye of that bird. Do you see anything else? No, I don't see anything else. And then he achieved success because of that fixation on that particular object. So if you are fixed on one particular thing, like a GPS, for example, you enter your destination, and whatever is the traffic, whatever is the conditions, even if you by mistake take a detour or miss an exit, The GPS will always guide you because it is fixed on one particular object. So Krishna mentions this in several places. Fixing the object, fixing the mind on one thing, and that is Krishna. There are so many things we can fix our minds on, but Krishna and Bhagavad Gita is clarifying. The Vedic scriptures, they clarify. The ultimate object where we have to fix our mind is on the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna. Even in Bhagavatam, it is said, um, Satvatam Patihi Dhyayascha Pujyascha Nityada. One should always focus and engage the mind in thinking of Krishna. So, this is a great prescription. So, we find many verses like this in Bhagavad Gita where Krishna talks about, which means Bhagavad Gita is meant for pure devotional service. That's the ultimate instruction. And the other methods like karma, gnana, dhyana, eventually for them to become successful, bhakti has to be added. Otherwise, there is no success. It is like, for example, you want to grow a field, grow a crop, and you can do many things. You can hire tractors so that you can till the land. You can hire workers. You can do so many things. Ultimately, for the crop to be successful, the central thing is the seed. You have to sow the seed. You're plowing the land, you're bringing in the equipment, bringing in the people. But if you don't sow the seed, the land is fertile, but it is of no use. So, all these other yogic paths, yes, to some extent they help to make our heart fertile. But unless that bhakti seed is sown, we won't progress. We won't achieve the ultimate end. So, my eva mana adhatsva, the mind has to be fixed on Krishna. That is the topmost meditation. And my buddhim niveshaya. My buddhim niveshaya means your intelligence you apply on Krishna. Our intelligence is typically applied on how we can increase our sense gratification. Actually, that is not a proper use of our intelligence. It is actually misuse of our intelligence. Because it is said in scriptures that sense gratification is available the moment you take birth. It is given. It is already destined. You cannot cross an inch beyond what you are destined. The sukha and dukkha that you are destined in this life will be given to you. Then one might say, then why am I working hard? That is basically you are asking me to be lazy. I can sit all day and do nothing, and money will come. And so that means the Shastras are advising us to be lazy and inactive. No, that's not what the Shastra is saying. Shastra is not saying you become lazy. Krishna never told Arjuna to become lazy. Krishna encouraged Arjuna, Uttishtha, from Yasholabhashva, Jitva Shatrun, Bhunkshwarajyam Samruddham. You fight and win the glory, enjoy the kingdom. Yudhyasva Vigata Jvaraha, give up your lethargy and get up and fight. So the scripture or God never asks us to be lazy, but they ask us to engage in the right activity. Because engaging our intelligence for sense gratification is a wrong activity, because you cannot improve your sukha and dukkha beyond a certain extent. One might say, oh, by engaging my intelligence, I can earn more. Yes, you can earn more, definitely. But the sukha that you are increasing through your earning more money, you'll be compensated with dukkha somewhere else. So it will balance out sukha and dukkha. So the proper use of, it also does not mean one should not work hard. What the scriptures are saying is, don't work too much. Tat prayasana kartavyam. Work as much as it is required for your livelihood, and the remaining energy that you have, you should engage in jivasya tattva jignasa. One should be fully active, but you should be fully active for spiritual life while doing what is needed for material life. One should never be lazy. Prayasa should not be done. Prayasa means over endeavor, just for sense gratification, just for livelihood, just for maintenance. Over endeavor should never be done. At the same time, one should not become lazy as well. So, mai eva mana adhatsva, mai buddhim niveshaya, nivasishyasi mai eva. You will always live in me. So, this is a very important instruction. Even though we may live in this world, we can live with Krishna if we apply these two principles. Fixing our mind on Krishna, fixing our intelligence on how to be more Krishna conscious. We can always live with Krishna. How? For example, you're working from home. You are in your home. You're not in the office. But you open the computer and it gets connected to the office through the connection, through the tunnel. That means you're as good as being in the office. Whatever you're working, it is as if you're working in the office. How? It is by dint of that tunnel, that connection. So, likewise, our connection to the spiritual world is our mind, our intelligence. Thinking about Krishna is being with Krishna. Chanting Krishna's holy names is being in association of Krishna, because that is the conduit. So that's what Prabhupada says in the purport. From the very beginning, it's not that we have to wait until we become perfect. From the very beginning, we can live with Krishna. A devotee does not live on the material plane, he lives in Krishna. The holy name of the Lord and the Lord are non different. Therefore, when a devotee chants Hare Krishna, Krishna and his internal potency are dancing on the tongue of the devotee. When he offers Krishna food, Krishna directly accepts these eatables, and the devotee becomes Krishnaized by eating the remnants. One who does not engage in such service cannot understand how this is so, although this is a process recommended in the Gita and in other Vedic literatures. So there are so many avenues by which we can establish the tunnel with Krishna: by chanting the holy names, by offering prasadam and accepting prasadam, by worship of the deity in the temple. One should not think that the deity is non different from Krishna, or deity is just a material object made of stone or wood or metal. Because sometimes people make that mistake. They think, a lot of people teach like that. What is that? Oh, this deity worship is just so that we need one object for meditation. Ultimately, God is impersonal, but to reach God, we need something to which we can on which we can focus on, and that impersonal comes as a person to help us meditate. This is what they say. Completely incorrect. The deity form of Krishna is non different from Krishna himself. Archavatara. Krishna is fully present in the deity. He's looking at us. He's accepting our offerings. He can reciprocate with those who have faith. When one of our great acharyas, previous acharyas, Madhavendra Puri, he was sent to Jagannath Puri to bring a lot of sandalwood. Krishna came in the dream and instructed him. Krishna, this was in Vrindavan. The Gopalji deity was established by Madhavendra Puri, and Gopalji came in the dream of Madhavendra Puri, and he said, because I'm submerged in that field for so long, you excavated me. Because of the Muhammadan attacks, Krishna Gopalji deity was put in the bushes in Vrindavan for a very long time. So somehow Krishna came in the dream of Madhavendra Puri and helped unearth that deity, and finally Madhavendra Puri installs the deity in Vrindavan on Govardhan. And the deity comes in the dream of Madhavendra Puri and tells him, I am, because of so much heat, I need sandalwood to be smeared on the body, sandalwood paste. So please bring from Jagannath Puri. So all the way from Vrindavan, he sets out on the journey to Jagannath Puri just to satisfy the Lord's order. And in between, he stops at a place called Remuna, where there is another deity of Krishna, Gopinath deity, another famous deity of Krishna. So he goes and visits the temple of Gopinath, where it's very opulent worship is done to Krishna. They offer wonderful sweet rice to Krishna every day, which is most sought after. And so Madhavendra Puri, he sees and it's being offered, and he thinks, oh, I wish I could taste this. But only with the mentality that I can also make similar offering for my Gopalji and offer it. But the moment he thinks about it, he feels so bad. Oh, what am I thinking? I'm trying to enjoy that which is being offered to Krishna, such a fallen person, and immediately he goes out of that place and then goes into a marketplace and starts to chant the holy name. And Krishna saw his desire. So when these pots were offered, 10 pots were offered, sweet rice, the deity takes away one pot and hides it behind him. And the pujari, he does not properly count. There are many of them, and just he takes away the offerings and then cleans it away and all that, goes to sleep. And then Krishna, Gopinathji, comes in the dream of the pujari and tells him, I have hidden this for Madhavendra Puri, go call him. He's in the marketplace. And the pujari immediately wakes up, takes bath, opens the deity room, and then finds the actual kshira, the pot behind the deity. And then immediately he goes and starts to call for Madhavendra Puri. Oh, Madhavendra Puri, where are you? The most fortunate Madhavendra Puri. Gopinathji has stolen this kshira for you. And when it is told to Madhavendra Puri, he becomes ecstatic and he cannot believe how Krishna is reciprocating with him. And then he takes that kshira, tastes it, and keeps that pot with him. And it is said that every day he would take a small piece of that pot and eat it. to remember Krishna's love on him. So you see how Krishna, the deity, is Krishna himself. Krishna reciprocates if you have that love. We cannot perceive it in our current state, but the great personalities. There are many such instances in Chaitanya Charitamrita, this Khirachora Gopinath and Sakshi Gopal, how Krishna gives Sakshi, comes as a witness, traveling all the way from Vrindavan. The deity travels all the way from Vrindavan to Orissa, to Vidyanagar, to give witness about two Brahmanas giving a word to Krishna that the elderly Brahmana wanted to give his daughter to this younger Brahmana. And Krishna is a witness for that. It's another beautiful pastime. So, all these, the deity, the holy name, the Bhagavad Gita, the words of Krishna, everything is a connection with Krishna, not different from Krishna. This is the beauty of Krishna consciousness. Instantly, we can get connected to Krishna. And once you get connected to Krishna, then you become immune to all negative effects of this world. There is in Bhagavatam, there was one king called Prashadra. So, an interesting incident happens. So, this Prashadra was a great valiant king, Kshatriya. So, he was engaged in the duty of protecting cows at night with a sword in his hand. So, following the order of his spiritual master. So, he would stand in this way for the entire night. So, once in the darkness of the night, a tiger comes and it seized a cow from the cowshed. And when Prushadra came to know this, he understood that this tiger is attacking the cow. And he took the sword and started to follow the tiger. And he approached the tiger. But unfortunately, in the darkness, he could not distinguish between the cow and the tiger. And unfortunately, he killed the cow unknowingly. But it was a great sin, or the spiritual master considered the great sin. He cursed him because of his inability to distinguish properly. He cursed him to take birth in a Sudra family. But Prushadra, he took shelter of the Lord. He entered the forest and he practiced Bhakti Yoga, completely focusing on Krishna, chanting his holy names, thinking about him, remembering him. So, even though he was cursed to take his next birth as a Sudra, but because he took to saintly life, he became a pure devotee. And after giving up his body in the fire of the forest, he reached the spiritual world. So, devotional service is so powerful that although one may be attacked by so many contaminations of this world is full of contaminations. Even if you don't want to get wet, don't want to get dirty. Just like you go to work, you have to pass through so much of pollution, so much of dust. You cannot say, oh, I'll remain clean. That's not the nature of this world. So, likewise, in this world, our sinful reactions are inevitable. Every time we walk, we have to kill these insignificant ants, living entities, by cooking, by heating, by drinking, or by working in a office. We are killing the competition, isn't it? Thriving in any industry means your company has to win over somebody else, putting them to bankruptcy, making their employees lose their job. So there is so much of contamination you are building. And the only way we can become immune to that contamination is we take shelter of Krishna and get that protection. Like how Prushadra, he was able to overcome that great curse. That is why Brahma Samhita or Brahma says, यस्त्विन्द्रगोपमधवेन्द्र महोस्वकर्म बन्धानुरूप फलभाजनमातनोति कर्माणि निर्दहति किन्तु च भक्तिभाजां गोविन्दमादिपुरुषं तमहं भजामि. It is said that from Brahma down to the smallest ant called Indragopa, Estu Indragopam Athavendram, or Indra, the king of heavenly planets, they're all enjoying or suffering the results of their previous activities. They are bound by the karma. Bandhanurupa, karma bandhanurupa, phalabhajanam. But when you engage in devotional service of Krishna, Govinda, karmani nirdahati, it frees us. We remain unaffected by the results of our material activities. Of course, one should not consciously, willingly commit sinful activities and try to negate it. That is a offense. But one who is sincerely engaged in Krishna consciousness, their karmic effects are taken away. And that makes the path suitable back to Godhead. I'll stop here. Anyone has any questions or comments? Bhagavad Gita as it is ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Nitai Gaur Preman.